Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today I'd like to talk about 10 things you really want to know when using a word processor. Again, this is not meant to be an expert tutorial. It's just meant to allow you to get a few pointers to produce a far better word processed document. On the screen, you'll see my word processor, your Hammer-Free Microsoft Word 2016 edition. Your word processor will look very similar. You may find the icons that I'm going to use in a slightly different place, but you should be able to find them without too many problems. Number 1, changing your font, the font size and color. This is very simple to do. If I left click and hold and drag the mouse over the text I wish to change, you can see at the top I quickly change the font type. There we go. You can change the size of the font, smaller or bigger. Also, you can change the color of the font, looking at the font color and changing it. Next, let's align the text. Aligning the text means having the text on the left hand side or the right hand side or in the center. So again, if I highlight the text, and you'll see at the top here, that's left, that's center, that's right. Next, let's look at bullet points and numbering. So as you can see, I've got a list of 10 items here, and at the moment the items are numbered 1 to 10. If I select again all of the text by left click and drag, at the top here you'll see I'm currently numbering the text. If I click that, the numbers disappear. Next to it, you have bullets, so I can replace the numbers with bullets. Turn the bullets off, turn the numbering back on again. It's as simple as that. Let's look at indenting the text. What do I mean by indenting text? Well, literally, it's just adding a few bits of space in front of the text. What I did there was I just hit the spacebar a number of times. And that's what a lot of people do. What you need to do is use these two buttons. Indent increase. When you click it, it just indents the text. Indent decrease. If I want to indent multiple lines of text, again, I select all the text, then indent, and if I want to decrease certain bits of text, I can select them and just decrease, and I do the same with the others. Now I covered cut, copy and paste in another video, but just as a quick refresher, you can see here that if I want to take this text and move it to a different part of the screen, I can select the text and then I can go up to here and I say cut, it disappears. I position the cursor by left clicking where I want the text to go and select paste. If I want to copy the text rather than cut it, I can select the text, hit copy this time, and then move where I want the text to go, and then paste again. Now what a lot of people want to do is they want to create a document that has columns. Now most people use the word columns, but they don't actually mean columns. So let me just show you what columns actually do. I've got the text of Tale of Two Cities, and if I go to the layout section in Word and I turn columns on, what you'll see is the entire document becomes a 2-column document. But that's not really what we want to do. So let's just turn columns off, because that really mucks everything up. There we go, so our text is back again. And if I wanted, for example, to put the first paragraph of this text on the left hand side, second paragraph on the right hand side, the easiest way to do this is to actually create a table. I insert a table, 2 columns and 1 row, and then I can use the old cut, copy and paste to take the first paragraph, cut it, put the cursor inside the left hand side and paste, and then with the second paragraph I cut and paste. Now, as you can see, if you actually try to print this document at the moment, you'd have border around your table. The way to make this disappear is, if you can see on the left hand side at the top, there's a little symbol. If I click on that, that selects the entire table, and then at the top here there's this little symbol which marked as borders. If I click down, I can say don't have any borders. So if you actually try and print this now, you'll just see the two columns, one on the left, one on the right, but you won't see the border of the table. Next, let's just add a picture. Very simple to do in a word processor these days. Let's go to our Tale of Two Cities, and wouldn't it be nice to have a picture of Charles Dickens just to emphasize the top of the text? Let's do that. Let's add a bit of space in the document, and then we want to insert a picture, and we're going to look at an online picture. Then we're going to search for Charles Dickens. So we click on the picture and click insert. There we go. Now the picture's a bit large, to be honest. If you can see round the border of the picture, there's these little marks, and if I left click and hold against the mark, I can resize the document to my heart's content. That looks about right. Next, let's fix a few issues with spelling and punctuation. Again, if we look down at our text, you'll actually see a few words that have got an underline in blue or red. The red underline means that, as far as the word processor is concerned, that word is spelt incorrectly. If I right click on the word, it'll give you options on alternative words that it thinks are correct. If it's blue, it thinks that there's a punctuation issue, and again right click on the word and it'll look at an alternative. Now, I'm not going to muck around with Charles Dickens' text. I think he's got a better grasp of English than I'll ever have, so I'll leave that alone. Next, let's add a page break. Again, let's look down at our text, and you'll see that the text is sort of splattered across the individual pages. Now what we can do is we can put an artificial break to make the text look a little bit more readable. So if I highlight where I'd wished the page to end, and then insert, and I want to do a page break, and you'll see the text that's after my cursor has moved on to the next page. And lastly, sometimes when you're mucking around in a word processor, you can get a bit lost because the text is trying to show you what you'll see when you print it out, but you can get a little bit confused as to what's going on in the blank part of the page. So click on this little fella, and that will then show you all the elements that make up the document. This little symbol is called a carriage return mark, and then as you can see where I put a page break in, it states it. And finally, if things go horribly wrong, there's a very useful feature on all word processors called undo and redo. When you press the Ctrl-Z key or press the arrow pointing to the left, as shown in the diagram, each time you press it, it will take you back one action in your word processor. So each time I press the Z, I'm going back to a different earlier text. If I've gone back too far, I can press the Ctrl and Y, and that will take me one step back to the text as it was initially. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.